Good morning to each and every one of you who is tuning in live this morning. I am Apostle like Dr. Moores, Senior Pastor of the Empowerment Kingdom Church International Ministries. This morning, I want you to go with me this morning. Go with me. We're going to be talking about the book of Genesis chapter 37, and it talks about Joseph having a dream. Genesis 37 talks about Joseph having a dream. But this morning, I want to send shout out to my man JR, who's watching live with me this morning. And I want to send a shout out to HOD Radio, because we're live on the radio station this morning. I want to send a shout out to Fresh Touch International Ministries. I want to send a shout out to Apostle Parker, Richard Parker from Canada, the Voice of Canada. I want to send a shout out to Archbishop Dr. Foster and his wife Terry. I want to send a shout out to the Remnant Worship Center over there with Apostle Charlene Bridges and her family, her church family ministry. I want to send a shout out to each and every one of my Empowerment Kingdom Church member followers, everybody that tune in live with me each and every Sunday. I want to send a shout out to you. And I pray that all is well with you and your families. But this morning, I want to talk about Dolly Parton's coat of many colors. See, Dolly Parton's coat of many colors is in a 2015 American-made television drama film on a true story by Dolly Parton, written by Pamela K. Long and directed by Stephen Herrick. The film premiered on NBC on December 10th, 2015. The film received generally positive reviews from critics. The Coat of Many Colors details Dolly Parton's upbringing in 1955 as her family struggles in Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains. Stay with me, y'all. Putting a strain on love and faith. Dolly aspired to be something greater, but must cope with family's troubles, including the premature birth and death of a baby brother. Dolly Mothers uses the baby's blanket to make Dolly her patchwork coat of many colors. Although Dolly is at first out of it, she changes her mind after school bullies make fun of her. Meanwhile, Dolly's father suffers a personal crisis brought about by the baby's death, combined with depression of his wife and a drought which threatens his tobacco crops. Eventually, faith brings the family together again. My God, faith brings their family together again. I want you to go with me to Genesis chapter 37. Go with me to Genesis chapter 37, verses 1. Let's go to 19. My God, let's go to chapter 37, verses 1 through 13 this morning. And the word of the Lord reads, Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed. The land of, excuse me. This is the account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Japhel, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons, because he has been born to him in his old age. And he made an ornament robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Stay with me. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all more. He said to them, listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my mind and bowed down. Do his men to reign over us. Verse 8. His brothers said to him, do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us? And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. He said, listen, he said, I had another dream. And this time the sun and the moon and the sleep stars were bowing down to me. When he told his father, my God, as his father rebuked him, did somebody hear me this morning? His father rebuked him and said, what is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you? His brothers were jealous of him. His father kept the matter in mind. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flock near Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, as you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I am going to send you with them. Very well, he said. So he said to him, go and see if all is well, and your brothers and with flocks will bring word back to me. Then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. When Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around in the fields and asked him, what are you looking for? He replied, I am looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks? My God, stay with me. They have moved on from here, the man answered. I heard them say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went to his brothers and found them near Dothan, but they saw him in a distance. Watch this, y'all. They saw him in a distance, and they said, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. Did you hear that? So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan, but they saw him in a distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that fierce animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes in his dreams. If I want to use a title topic to my message, it would be called You Talk Too Much. You talk too much. You talk too much. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was one son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. The question is why Jacob gave a coat of many colors is one with many aspects to consider. A study of parental mistakes of Bible characters could be in itself a parental shortcomings. He radically behaved. Samson was a product of overly indulged parents. Eli, the highest priest of Shalom, refused to discipline his sons. Abraham rashly acted upon his wife, ill-conceived plan by following an ill-begotten son. It is worth nothing that Abraham's two sons continue their struggle to this day. Somebody hear me. But it was Isaac, the son of Abraham, who committed the parental sin of sins. He and his wife Rebekah divided their family by showing favoritism between their sons. Isaac preferred their older son, Esau, while Rebekah loved the younger son, Jacob. Unfortunately, the bad blood that existed between Esau and Jacob festered into a full-blown hatred between their offsprings. The Edomites and the Israelites, students of the Bible prophecy, are well aware that much modern-day Israel's troubles can be traced to the childbearing mistakes by Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As to the coat of many colors itself, the most common outer garments of this type of nothing more than a long cloth with a hole. After draping the long cloth over the shoulders, a rope or a belt was fastened around the waist. Some explorators argued that this particular coat was especially valued because sleeves sewn into the garment. Others believe the coat was ornated by many colors. The real issue of color has nothing to do with the colors. The special coat to Joseph, as Joseph was esteemed my God, about to wreck his family. Joseph was the second of the 12 brothers born to Jacob. In 37, we read any other of his son, because he had been to him in old age. He had an ornament over him when his hatred that their father loved him more than any other of them. They hated Joseph and could not say a kind word to him. My God, do you get to a place where people don't like you because of certain things that you have? Have you ever gotten to a place to kind of cope and you having nice stuff because at the end of the day they are just envy of you? My God, the same passage also discusses two dreams Joseph had that angered his brothers. My God, the dreams indicated his brothers would someday bow down to him. Joseph's brothers also despised him due to their father's over and favoritism towards him. Don't we got this thing going on in families in today's time? You got favorites, and sometimes your father or the mother's favorite some type one of their child. Somebody got to hear me this day that there's favoritism going on in your family. There's favoritism going on in the house of God because sometimes we idolize certain people over top of other people. Say that thing again, Apostle. There's favoritism going this morning. One day Joseph traveled to check on his brothers while they were watching their sheep. His brothers plotted against him. They threw him in an empty well and later sold him as a slave to some traveling Midianites. Applying animal blood to his ornate robe, they returned home and made Jacob believe his son had been killed by wild animals. In the meanwhile, Joseph was taken to Egypt and sold to the captain of the Potiphar as a household slave. Joseph was later falsely accused of attempting to rape Potiphar's wife and thrown into prison. While in prison, Joseph accurately interpreted dreams of two of Pharaoh's servants, my God, who were also incarcerated. Later, Pharaoh had a disturbing dream no one could interpret. One of the servants Joseph had previously helped then suggested to Pharaoh that Joseph could interpret this dream. My God, Joseph was summoned from prison and he interpreted Pharaoh's dream in such a powerful way that he was appointed second in command over Egypt. My God, my God. Joseph was appointed second in command. See, let me say this morning. You got to be careful that you tell folks your dream. You got to be careful telling folks about what's going on with you. See, you can't keep telling folks what's happening. You can't keep telling folks how God is blessing you. You can't keep running your mouth and spilling the beans to folks because sometimes folks is going to use that dream that you had against that dream that you had, and they're going to turn around and then use it against you. You can't keep telling folks your business. You got to be careful how you talk around folks. You got to be careful that you can't tell Lottie, you can't tell Dottie, and you can't tell everybody because folks don't like the facts that God is blessing you. Folks can't stand the fact that you are rising to the occasion. Folks can't stand the fact that maybe I'm Apostle today. I don't care if you like me or not, but I know God has got me on divine assignment. You can't keep spilling your beans to folks. Because folks are player haters. They don't like the fact that you dreamt something great and God is going to use that for your good. My God, be careful who you talk to. You can't keep telling people your business today. They will flip that thing around on you. My God, they will flip that thing around on you this morning. God has a unique plan. My God, a unique plan for every one of us. This means that there's a vision for your life. And that's the dream he will put in your heart. Occasionally, he will reveal plans and actual dreams and visions. Did you hear that? Occasionally, God will reveal the plan and actual dreams or visions, but more often than not it will happen gradually. Joseph already had a relationship with the Lord by the time his destiny was made known. Did you hear that? By the time folks figure out what's happening with you, because you already had a relationship, you already spent time with God. God is going to put you forth, and folks are going to have to come to you because they're going to need you in the end. You can't keep telling folks stuff. You can't keep spilling beans. You can't keep running your mouth. God is telling you, be quiet and let me do the work for you. My God, you can't keep spilling the beans every time you want to keep opening your mouth. God is telling you to be quiet. Stay within his will, and it's okay. Only a matter of time before you will fast and before you will feel this urge to move into a certain direction. Your purpose tends towards what you are naturally gifted at or passionate about. Did you hear that? Your purpose tends towards what you are naturally gifted at or passionate about. We should be cautious when sharing our dreams. Did you hear that? We should be cautious when sharing dreams. When God gives you a dream, it is exactly and usually we want to share it with someone. My God, did you hear that? When God gives you a dream, it is exactly and usually we want to share it with somebody. Joseph had a dream and he decided to talk to his father. Joseph had another dream. It was about his father. My God, you can't keep sharing your information with folks because they ain't gonna like what you got to say to them. The reason for this is simple. Most people would not encourage you or be happy for you. Did you hear that? The reason for this is simple. Most people would not encourage you or be happy for you. Some will, no doubt, but more likely there will be indifference or a discouraging responsible acts towards you. Folks don't like you. Folks don't like the fact that you getting blessed. Folks don't like to see you with nice things on. Folks don't like to see you with nice shoes. Folks don't like to see you with a nice house. Folks don't like to see you with a nice car. Preach, apostle. Folks don't like to see you blinged out. Folks don't like the fact that God is doing great things in your life, but folks are going to sit there and play a hate on you. Folks ain't going to like the fact that God is doing great things. They going to try to discourage you when you tell them your stuff. You got to be careful talking to people. Everybody don't like you. I'm going to say that this morning. Everybody don't like you. Joseph's brothers were not impressed by his obedience to their father. They obviously did not like the fact that he told the truth and exposed them. When we were close, when we choose to live, my God, forgive me, when we choose to live the way God expects, we will definitely upset. Did you hear that? When you decide to live for God, when you decide to leave them folks alone in the street, when you decide to stop playing around with your life, when you decide to start walking towards God, folks ain't gonna like the fact because you got these same people that will try to hold you back. You got the same people when you tell them something great is about to happen for me, and they ain't gonna want to hear that mess. They ain't want to hear what you got to say. They don't want to hear that God is blessing you as the Ishmaelites carried him away. You can be sure he prayed and hoped that God somehow restored him to his father. He, however, did not get what he wanted. Same way, we at times pray that certain circumstances are removed from our lives. See, you got to understand something. When things and trials be coming all around you, when things start to rise up in your life, these things, God has full control and he knows what he is doing in your life in those circumstances. My God, those circumstances. God will not grant our request, and we will have to believe he knows what is best for us. If he had answered Joseph's prayer, he would have saved him a lot of pain, but also blocked the route to his destiny. Did you hear that? See, sometimes, with pain, there's purpose. You got to be careful. You got to be careful getting outside of what God wants to do in your life. See, you got to stay in his will. You can't keep doing things your way. You can't keep doing things your way. My God, you can't keep doing things your way. God usually brings us to a place where we need to depend on him as we journey towards the fulfillment of our dreams. God will teach us to depend more on him than on anything else. Did you hear that? We will draw away the things that we tend to rely on, whether it is purpose, our job, money, or even luxury. We are astonished of having those things. Chances are, if we depend too much on anything, we would begin to have less of it. Not to deprive us, but to make us understand that all that is not founded in God is spitting sand. Did you hear that? If it's not founded in God, it is just sifting sand. And see, in Joseph's case, he was taken away from his family and his homeland. He lost all that he could put in hope in, except God. As he lived in it, he had no choice but to rely on him. My God, when God is all we have, we should be encouraged because we have everything we need. We will need to be prepared for our purpose. See, I told somebody, out of purpose comes out of pain comes your purpose. You got to go through the pain to get to your purpose. My God, you have to go through the pain to get through the purpose. God will grace us, give us grace wherever we are. Did you hear that? God will give us grace wherever we are. As Joseph worked as a slave day to day, in the month and year after year, he wondered if he would ever see his family again, let alone the fulfillment of God's promise for his life. He needed the grace of God. This grace is the one that carries us beyond what we can do on our own. Did you hear that? It will carry us beyond what we can do on our own. It is the bits of encouragement God gives us daily in many different ways. Just when you are considering giving up, did you hear that? Just when you are considering the Lord speaks to you through his word, or someone shows you appreciation for something you did, and suddenly you have the strength to go through. Joseph needed grace, and so do we. I'm going to tell somebody this morning, when you get to a hard rock, when you feel like you alone and you feel like you down, when you feel like there ain't nobody there to talk to. But I told you to be careful who you go to and talk to. See, you can't go to anybody. You got to be careful with the ones that call themselves leaders. I'm going to say that because everybody ain't praying you. They praying on you. I'm going to say that one more time. You got to be careful who you go to. You can go to everybody and tell them your business. You got to be careful. You got to be careful that you don't tell folks your business. Even though Joseph was thrown in a cistern, even though he was in a dark place, but Joseph knew that he had God with him, and God delivered him out of that dark place. Even though that he was sold to the Midianites, even though he was in Egypt as a slave, even though that you got to understand that God allowed Joseph to go to the next level, because if you got faith as a mustard seed, God would use your pain for his purpose in your life. You got to go through to come out. You can't sit there and wallow in a cistern. You can't sit there and stay where you are. You got to believe God is going to deliver you from your cistern. You can't keep telling everybody about the blessings that God is doing. See, folks will tell Lottie, then Lottie will tell Dottie, then Dottie will tell everybody about something that you should not have said in the first place. You got to be careful, folks. You can't tell everybody your business. See, even though Joseph had that dream was for a futuristic time. Joseph was dreaming. His dream was prophetic. And let me say this. His dream was very prophetic. His prophetic dream, because what he spoke, it came into fruition. That thing happened. His father and his brothers didn't understand what was going in his dream. See, when we dream things, your dream is for things that God see you. God is going to see you somewhere farther in life, because you can't open your mouth and tell people about your dream. Your dream is something, and it's for you to deal with. Joseph had his dream, and he decided to tell his brothers. He decided to tell his father, but after he told them, happened. See, when you tell that you're blessed, watch this. When you tell folks you get a new house, when you tell folks you got a high-paying job, when you tell folks that you ran into a lot of money, when you tell folks that God is doing wonderful things in your life, when you tell folks that God planted you in this new building, when you tell folks that folks are going to be coming like herds of people into your ministry, when you tell folks that you got this big sign over top of your church, when you tell folks that you got new buses and new cars for the pastor, when you tell folks stuff like that, what happens? Then the jealousy starts to sit in. See, that's what happened with Joseph. When Joseph told his dream, see, Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that one day, and this thing happened because Martin Luther King had a dream, and his birthday is on Monday. So I want to tell some that you can't keep telling people your dreams. You to be careful this morning of telling everybody about what's happening with you. Joseph had that dream, but it was prophetic. See, sometimes when you have dreams and those things come to you, those things are something. And sometimes when those dreams happen, those things come to fruition. You got to be really careful about your dreams. Believe me when I tell you, be careful who you talk to. And you need to stop running your mouth and telling everybody about your business. Because folks don't want to hear the truth. Folks don't want that you blessed. Folks don't want to hear that you got houses and cars and businesses. Folks don't want to hear that. See, Joseph and his father didn't understand the dream, because they went to Joseph and said, are you going to rule over us? Isn't that same when folks get to a place where they don't understand? They see how you moving. They see how God is doing things in your life. They sitting back wondering, is he going to rule over us? Will we have to bow down to him? This dream was prophetic, and those things actually happened. See, even though Joseph wound up in Egypt, even though he was thrown in jail, even though when things start happening wrong in your life, just know that God is going to deliver you out of that. But this is my message on today. I just wanted to come in and drop a short nugget this morning. I didn't want to be before you too long, but I want to say this to somebody. Be careful who you tell your dreams to, because they are dream snatchers out. And folks don't like the fact that God is going to bless you. And this dream that you have, keep dream to yourself, and don't let everybody know about what God is doing in your life. Apostle-elect Dr. Morris, coming to you live. Thank you, my HOD family. Thank you, my HOD family all over the world, and everybody that's watching this live. Like I say, stop telling your business. You can't tell everybody what's going on, y'all. You can't tell everybody about your new building. You can't tell everybody about your new cars. You can't tell everybody about how much money you got in the bank. See, folks are going to come at you, and see, the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Be careful who you tell your dreams to. This is Apostle Morris, right here in the heart of Glen Burnie, Maryland, the United States. To my HOD family, this is the United States that I'm coming live from. So God bless each and every one of you from HOD. God bless my Empowerment Kingdom Church family. God bless all my followers, the people that come on every Sunday and watch my lives. So I want to thank each and every one for tuning in. I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So again, this is possibly like Dr. Morris. I love you. Tune in again next time, next Sunday, same Empowerment Kingdom time, same Empowerment Kingdom channel. And y'all keep praying for me because I've been under the weather and I'm trying to break this cold. But blessings upon blessings. Again, this is Apostle Morris coming to you live right here at the Empowerment Kingdom Church. I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. God bless you, and I'll see you again in my next live. Empowerment Kingdom, I love you.